What is up there, everyone? It's the guy with no gamer tech here, and I'm here for a Battlefield 3 tips video. Now, first things first, I want to quickly cover some Battlefield 4 news. It's the confirmation of the beta dates for Battlefield 4. So it's confirmed that people who've bought Battlefield 3 Premium or a special edition of Medal of Honor Warfighter can get early access to the beta on October 1st. And by the looks of it on the Battlelog website, it said that everyone else can get access to the Battlefield 4 beta on October 4th. So that is the dates for when you can access Battlefield 4's online beta. It would be pretty cool to play again with you guys. Not in the wrong way, you naughty people. But anyway, let's get back to the tips. Now, today I'm covering shooting and discretion in Battlefield, because the shooting is a lot different compared to other games. In this game, every fully automatic gun has quite heavy recoil. It usually is, well, it can be, it pretty much changes with every gun actually. There will be guns that act similar, but generally the guns do all behave differently. And in the game there are always 2 fire modes on every gun, unless it's like a pump shotgun or a bolt action. Although there are guns like the KH-2000 which is only burst fire. But yeah, generally most guns have 2 fire modes, which is fully automatic and semi-automatic, so you've got tap fire and full auto. There are a few guns like the AN-94, the UMP-45, guns like that which will have 3 fire modes, so you've got fully automatic burst fire and semi-automatic. Now in fully automatic, almost all guns have a lot of recoil. You'll generally have to tap fire at some medium ranges, but generally it's quite easy to control if you have good control with the thumbsticks. You just bring the gun back down. Going through the traits of guns, you have the assault rifles, which can do well at... They're mainly designed for medium to longish range. They do quite a lot of damage at longer ranges. You've got the carbines, which can do medium range, but they are better at close range than assault rifles. You would generally get outgunned more by a carbine in close range if you had carbine versus assault rifle. You have like machine gun assault rifle crossovers, where it's like an assault rifle with like a 50 round mag. That's basically, it will behave very similar to an assault rifle, you just got more bullets. Machine guns, they are very effective at long range. You've just got to get over the recoil or use a bipod, but I'll get into that later. Then you've got the sniper rifles, which are of course very good at very long range. They can do close range, but you're better going for long range shots. You also have PDWs, which are otherwise known as submachine guns. They are really only designed for very close range. They will outgun a lot of guns at close range, but you can still get long range shots with them, and as I will cover later in the video. You also have the shotguns, which of course are designed primarily for very close range. Also suppression, funnily enough, but if you use the slug round, you can get long range shots. Now, the first bit I'm going to cover is discretion, because you'll see in this clip I have here, I run around the corner and I spot about 4 or 5 enemies. Now, I decide they are at a bit of a range, and I'm using a carbine, the AK-74U. So I think, okay, what I'll do is I'll just put it into semi-auto, and I'll just take the first guy. Then I snap over to the other guys, and I decide I still use the semi-auto. I think for the last guy, I then put it back in full auto to get the last few bullets on him, which does eventually kill him, which can be quite an effective tactic, because you can use the recoil to advantage. If you put quite a few semi-automatic shots into someone, switch it back to full auto, because then the recoil will, like, if you're on target, it will then put the bullets like at higher points in the body. When using semi-auto, I would always aim for body shots because they're more reliable than going for a headshot. There's generally little recoil. You'll get like a bounce recoil, but it'll generally stay pretty much on target. With the burst fire modes, I find that they have more recoil than the semi-auto. The gun will go up and it takes a tiny bit of time to go back down, but it's not like the bounce you get on semi-auto. I personally find it a bit distracting, and I personally rather use full auto or semi-auto. I rarely use burst fire because I find that I can fire off semi-auto shots just as quickly, so I don't personally use it. It is good for the AN-94 though, because that gun is very good at long range, so you just got to bear in mind, and you've got to use the guns which suit you, and you've got to learn how to use the guns and just just get the feel of the gun and work out how you're going to use it. And now there's also different attachments you can use. There are the two attachments which affect recoil are the bipod and the foregrip. The foregrip does do its job. It's very useful. It will decrease the recoil a lot, making it much more manageable. Guns much more manageable at medium ranges. Although you do have the bipod as well, and basically what happens is when you go up behind an object, if you press aim, your guy will flip out a bipod on the surface. You then have, I think you've got a certain amount of space which you can aim in and you can turn, but you can't do like 360 on it. You can only I think it's about 80 degrees, something like that. Area you can aim and shoot through. It means that the gun has practically no recoil. You'll get a little bit as you start shooting, but apart from that, it will be dead on. Of course, its disadvantage is that you will be very vulnerable to people that might just sneak up behind you or can sneak around you. I find that it is useful attachment, but I only would use it on machine guns, although on machine guns, I've pretty much realised that the recoil on those, it'll go up very quickly, but eventually the recoil will stop, and then you can bring it down, and the gun will stay steady the whole time, which is also a very good tip to know. Now, there's also another thing to take into consideration is bullet drop in this game, because every bullet you fire counts as a projectile. So what they've done is they've programmed it so that every bullet you fire will have some sort of drop and is affected by gravity. So you've got to take that into account if you're going for a longer range kill. So if you are trying to gun someone from range, you're going to have to aim slightly above them to take into account the amount the bullet is going to drop. That is something primarily you're going to need to know on snipers, but it is also useful if you're trying to use a shotgun at long range, which of course you want to be using the slug round, because that means it's just firing one shell, which can travel further, unlike a buckshot, which is just going to affect a few feet in front of you. And some machine guns that works as well. If you put them in semi-auto and you aim slightly ahead, I found that I've used a submachine gun from quite a distance. If you do get shot from a submachine gun at a distance, it means they are probably using semi-auto fire mode. So that is one thing to take into account. And last thing is sniping, because the snipers have, of course, the longest range of any of the guns. The one thing to take into account with the whole bullet drop thing is if someone says the gun is the most powerful gun, like the M98B is the most powerful sniper, that doesn't mean it does more damage. It means that the bullet will stay straight for longer and won't be affected by gravity as much. So what you've got to take into account is using the different snipers. You've got the SV98, which is the least powerful gun, so that means the bullet will drop quicker, and you've got the M98B, where the bullet will stay straight for longer and will be less affected by gravity. That is one thing to take into account. I'm going to use the reference of the ballistic 12x zoom scope. You've got the crosshairs, and you've got the cross in the middle. Then underneath you've got a certain amount of notches. I think it's 4 or 5. I found on generally the first notch is a 300 to 500 meter shot. So if you have, say, the enemy's 500 meters away and you're using an M98B, if you aim where the notch and the vertical line cross, you should be able to get a headshot, you should hit them from that range. So that is the way I've worked it out. It's something, I've just worked out it's about 300 to 500 meters. After that, I'm really not sure. I don't really do much long-range sniping because I haven't yet really got very good at it, but I hope that's some use to you. I'm also soon going to be doing if you want me to, I'll be doing a Battlefield 3 campaign playthrough if you want to see that. Please leave a comment down below if you do. I may do some more Battlefield 3 tips if you want them. Please suggest and like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in another video.